car to be an EV, representing a 22% increase from last year. Now, it comes amid a global transition away from gasoline-powered vehicles as more and more companies move to an all-electric fleet. For more on this, let's bring in Lauren Fix, automotive expert and host of The Car Coach. She joins us now. Lauren, this is the first time that this survey has shown this much consumer interest in an electric vehicle. What do you think are some of the factors contributing to this optimism?
Well, there's a lot of exciting vehicles being put out, from pickup trucks to SUVs. I've got the Hyundai Ioniq 5 behind me. Hyundai's put a full lineup, and they've actually invested $5.5 billion into a plant in South Carolina. Ford has invested billions in a battery plant in Atlanta, so that's going to be jobs. And people like to buy from where they work, and also if it's helping our country. Also, it's important to keep in mind on a global basis that this does not fit everybody's lifestyle. In other countries, there's better infrastructure. Here in the U.S., we're still putting in high-speed chargers. For example, high-speed charging means, like this Ioniq behind me has 800-volt architecture, which means it'll charge up to 80% in 10 minutes. That's not true with most of the electric cars that are available. But I think people are showing interest because of the cost of gasoline being higher. But there's a lot of factors that will deter them when they really kind of look into it a little deeper. Is one, the insurance is twice as expensive because the replacement cost of these vehicles. And then two, you need to either have a charger at your house or one nearby, and that cost is on you. And it's about $2,000 to have it installed here in the U.S. by a certified electrician.
Hey, you know, it's interesting. Obviously, there's been a lot more competitors, so to speak, come into the space, offer more vehicles that has spurred some of this interest. But one of the things I think about, especially now, and you pointed this out, gas prices. I mean, those are at record highs. And I'm curious, you know, if we look at gas prices and we see those just maintain this upward trajectory or even stay where they're at right now, which is pretty high enough, at least for me, do you think there is going to be further consumer interest into this space, even amid some of the issues like, you know, higher insurance costs?
Right, I think people will absolutely look at the different vehicles that are there. When you go to the dealer, it depends on what they have in stock. So for example, a lot of companies are including plug-in hybrids. So you have that gas and that still plug-in, so you get the discount. Some people want pure, you know, I don't want the plug-in, but I want that hybrid, which is available and has been available for years on vehicles like a Toyota Prius. And then on the other side, you've got just pure plug-ins, and that's been around for a long time, such as the Nissan Leaf, the Mini E, the Chevy Bolt EV. So there's a lot of product out there. So I think it allows people to make choices that work for their lifestyle.
How much do you think our car sellers going to struggle as demand for gas-powered vehicles starts to wane and there is this transition happening, but that transition is certainly not meeting demand, right? There's not enough supply out there just yet.
There's not a lot of supply of anything, actually.
Yeah.
I waited 8 months just to get my pickup truck, and it happens to be diesel-powered. But it depends what you're doing. So you're also seeing a lot of fuel cell technology coming in where they're using hydrogen to propel these vehicles. Because if you take away all the fossil fuels, you will not be able to have enough electricity to support the infrastructure, which we still have a lot of issues with in the infrastructure. This is a massive issue. You're seeing in California talking about rolling brownouts. This morning, there was an article out of Michigan saying that if they take down their nuclear power plants, that they're going to have a problem with brownouts. And that's a problem because in states like Michigan, you typically don't see that. That's more of a California, sometimes New York City based on the population. So it's really important that when you are looking at electric car, take one for a test drive. If you like it, and they are a lot of fun to drive and they have great technology, I mean, lots of safety features are standard. It's important that you look into not just the insurance, but the charging station, what's available for a federal tax credit, your state tax credit. And if you work for a large company, there might be an additional discount, and you certainly don't want to miss that.
In terms of the skeptical side of this kind of EV revolution, there are some that talk about, you know, range anxiety when it comes to all-electric vehicles, only being able to go just so far, having to worry about where the next kind of charging point, so to speak, is. This is a very real anxiety for a lot of people. What do you think when you look at that about the potential of EV owners getting past that fear?
Well, that is a challenge because there isn't high-speed charging. And I live in New York State. And so if I want to drive to Florida, it's going to take me substantially longer, almost 1/3 to 1/2 of the time longer just to get there because I have to stop and charge. And if there isn't a high-speed charging station or someone's not in the high-speed charging station, that's going to be a problem that's going to have to be overcome. So the infrastructure needs to be built. That's going to take time. Range anxiety is real cold temperatures, really hot temperatures The temperatures really do an impact on batteries. And so it's important that you take one for a drive and do some research before you just go ahead and buy one.
Really smart advice there, Lauren. Really appreciate your time and your insight. Lauren Fix, host of The Car Coach. All right, many people in the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities may not seek mental health help due to cultural stigmas or lack of access to affordable health care, among other issues as well. In fact, the group is the latest likely to